In the serene village of Myrna, nestled between lush green hills and a sparkling river, two neighbors lived side by side. The village was a place of beauty, where nature thrived, and the air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the melody of chirping birds. The first man, Aaron, was known throughout the village as a man of unyielding optimism. He believed that every problem had a solution, every challenge was an opportunity, and every day was a gift to be cherished. His home was a reflection of his mindset, bright, warm, and welcoming. The garden outside his cottage flourished with vibrant flowers, and the laughter of children often filled the air as they played near his doorstep. The second man, Bren, lived just a stone's throw away. In stark contrast to Aaron, Bren was a man weighed down by negativity. He saw the world as a harsh and unforgiving place, where every silver lining was just the thin edge of a dark cloud. His house, though similar in structure to Aaron's, felt cold and uninviting. The once beautiful garden had wilted, overtaken by weeds, and the only sounds that came from his home were those of discontent and grumbling. The villagers often marveled at how two men living so close to one another could be so different. Aaron and Bren had once been friends, but over the years, their paths had diverged. Aaron's days were filled with purpose and joy. He woke up each morning with a sense of gratitude, taking time to meditate and set positive intentions for the day. He greeted everyone he met with a smile, and even in the face of adversity, he remained calm and composed. When his crops failed due to a dry spell, he simply saw it as a chance to try new methods of farming. He often said, "Every setback is a setup for something greater." Bren, on the other hand, had let life's challenges harden his heart. He viewed the world through a lens of scarcity and fear. When his crops failed, he cursed the weather, the soil, and even the village for his misfortune. He often muttered to himself, "Nothing ever goes right for me." He isolated himself from the community, believing that others were either too lucky or too naive to understand the harsh realities of life. One year, the village of Myrna faced an unprecedented challenge. Dark clouds gathered over the hills, and the skies unleashed a torrential storm unlike any the villagers had seen before. The river that once sparkled with life became a raging torrent, threatening to overflow and flood the entire village. As the storm raged on, the villagers hurried to protect their homes and fields. Aaron, with his ever-positive outlook, organized a group of villagers to build barriers and redirect the water flow. He encouraged them, saying, "Together, we can overcome this. This storm is a test of our resilience." Bren, however, saw the storm as the final nail in the coffin. "This is the end," he told himself, retreating into his home and boarding up his windows. He refused to join the villagers in their efforts, convinced that nothing could be done to prevent the inevitable destruction. The storm lasted for days, but thanks to the collective efforts of the villagers, led by Aaron, the damage was minimized. While some fields were flooded, the village itself remained largely intact. When the skies finally cleared, the villagers emerged from their homes, weary but relieved. Aaron's home and garden, though battered by the storm, remained standing. His fields, though partially flooded, were still fertile, and the crops that survived were a testament to his hard work and positive outlook. He immediately set to work, cleaning up the debris and helping his neighbors rebuild. Bren's home, however, did not fare as well. The isolation and lack of preparation left his house vulnerable, and the flooding had caused significant damage. When he finally stepped outside, he saw the ruin that had befallen his property and felt a deep sense of despair. "Why does this always happen to me?" he lamented. As the village began to recover, Aaron approached Bren with an offer to help rebuild. "We can fix this together," he said with his usual optimism. "It's never too late to start anew." But Bren, consumed by his negative mindset, could only see the destruction around him. "What's the point?" he snapped. "Everything I touch turns to dust. You're just lucky, Aaron. That's all." Aaron shook his head gently. "Luck had nothing to do with it, Bren. It's about how we choose to face the challenges life throws at us. You can choose to see this as the end, or you can choose to see it as a new beginning." Bren scoffed, but Aaron's words lingered in his mind long after he had left. In the days that followed, Bren struggled with his thoughts. He saw how the villagers, inspired by Aaron's leadership, worked tirelessly to restore the village. Slowly, he began to realize that it wasn't luck that had kept Aaron's home safe or his spirit unbroken. It was his mindset, the unwavering belief that no matter how dark the storm, the sun would shine again. One morning, as Bren looked out over his damaged fields, something shifted inside him. He remembered a time, long ago, when he had been hopeful, when he had believed in possibilities rather than impossibilities. With a deep breath, he made a decision. He walked over to Aaron's house and knocked on the door. When Aaron opened it, Bren looked him in the eye and said, "I need your help. I want to rebuild, not just my house, but myself." Aaron smiled warmly. "I knew you'd come around, Bren. It's never too late to change." The rebuilding process was not easy, but Bren was determined. With Aaron's guidance, he began to adopt a more positive outlook. Each day, he practiced gratitude, even for the smallest things: a sunny day, a friendly conversation, a new seed sprouting in his field. He learned to reframe challenges as opportunities for growth and started to believe in the possibility of a better future. As the weeks turned into months, Bren's life began to change. His home, once a symbol of despair, was transformed into a place of warmth and hope. His garden, with Aaron's help, blossomed once more, and the sound of children's laughter returned to his doorstep. The villagers noticed the change in Bren. He was no longer the grumbling, negative man they had known. He had become a part of the community again, offering help where he could and even inspiring others with his newfound optimism. The following year, the village of Myrna hosted its annual fair, a celebration of the harvest and the resilience of the community. The fair was a grand affair, with music, dancing, and stalls filled with the bounty of the year's labor. Aaron and Bren, now close friends, walked through the fair together. They stopped at a stall where a storyteller was captivating a group of children with tales of old. The storyteller's words echoed the lesson that Bren had come to understand so deeply: life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, but about learning to dance in the rain. Bren smiled as he listened, realizing that the story was, in many ways, his own. He had learned to dance in the rain, to find joy and purpose even in the face of adversity. And he knew, without a doubt, that this transformation was the result of a single, powerful choice: the choice to think positively. As the fair continued, the skies began to darken once more. The villagers looked up with concern as clouds gathered, hinting at another storm. The memories of the previous year's devastation were still fresh in their minds. Aaron turned to Bren, who was watching the sky with a thoughtful expression. "Another storm is coming," he said, his voice calm but serious. Bren nodded, but there was no fear in his eyes this time. "Yes," he replied, "but we are ready for it. We know how to face it now." The two men stood side by side, watching as the first drops of rain began to fall. But this time, Bren did not retreat into his home. Instead, he turned to the villagers, just as Aaron had done before, and began organizing them to prepare for the storm. As the rain began to pour, the villagers, led by Aaron and Bren, worked together with a sense of purpose and unity. They knew that they could face any storm, no matter how fierce, because they had discovered the power within themselves, the power of positive thinking. And as the storm raged on, somewhere in the back of Bren's mind, a question lingered: what new beginnings would this storm bring? The storm eventually passed, and once again, the village of Myrna stood resilient. The lessons of the past had not been forgotten, and the seeds of positive thinking had taken root, not just in Bren, but in the entire village. As the sun broke through the clouds, casting a golden light over the village, Aaron and Bren stood together, looking out over the fields. They had both learned that life would always bring storms, but it was how they faced those storms that truly mattered. And so, the village of Myrna thrived, its people united by the knowledge that within every challenge lay the potential for growth and transformation. The power of positive thinking had not just changed Bren's life, it had changed the entire village. But as the seasons changed and new challenges arose, one question remained: how would the next generation carry forward the lessons of positive thinking? If you enjoyed this story and found its message inspiring, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Motivational Quotes for more uplifting stories and powerful life lessons. Share this video with your friends and family to spread positivity and wisdom. And let us know in the comments, how has positive thinking changed your life?